Welcome to the Perfectly Imperfect Spiritual Podcast. I'm Marta. In today's episode, I want to talk about magnetic self love. Not the kind that is performative, not the kind that becomes a brand, not the kind that's about polishing yourself, proving your worth, or becoming more desirable so that someone chooses you. I'm talking about a quieter kind of self love, the kind that stabilizes your nervous system, the kind that makes your life cleaner, and the kind that changes what you tolerate, how you choose, how you relate, and how you hold yourself when things feel uncertain. And this isn't an episode about becoming more attractive. It's an episode about becoming more devoted to your own life because real magnetism is rarely something you force. It's usually a byproduct of integrity, of coherence, of self respect, of not abandoning yourself. So, if you've been doing all the right things but still feel unsettled inside yourself, or you notice yourself overgiving, over explaining, or attracting inconsistency, or you feel tired of chasing and waiting and negotiating your needs, this episode is for you. Before we go any further, take a breath with me. No urgency, no pressure, just a steadier pace. All right, let's take another deep breath in and out. When people talk about magnetism, they often mean attention, attraction, being wanted, being chosen. And there's nothing wrong with wanting love, appreciation, desire. That's human. The problem starts when magnetism becomes a strategy to compensate for a shaky inner relationship, because then magnetism turns into performance, into grasping, into self improvement that's actually self rejection. So let me reframe magnetism. Magnetism is the felt experience other people have when they're around you and they can sense that you are not split inside. You're not performing, you're not extracting, you're not shape shifting to be chosen. That kind of coherence is rare. Most people are managing perception, trying to be liked, trying to stay safe by being agreeable, impressive, or useful. So when someone encounters a person who is internally settled and self honest, it feels like relief. And relief is magnetic. Magnetism doesn't come from effort, it comes from ease, from truth, from integrity, from a nervous system that isn't constantly bracing. This is why self love is central. Magnetic self love isn't an idea, it's an inner relationship that has become safe. It is when your nervous system trusts that you will take care of yourself, that you will honor your truth, that you will protect your capacity, that you will stop negotiating your worth. And when your system trusts you, you stop grasping for safety through other people. You stop making attention responsible for your confidence. You stop making outcomes responsible for your peace. And you stop making someone else's consistency responsible for your self worth. That changes your energy. Because the energy of, I need you to choose me, feels heavy. Understandable, but heavy. And the energy of I am choosing myself and I would love for you to walk with me feels clean, stable, adult. That is magnetism. Now I want to name something important. Magnetism is often confused with intensity. Intensity isn't magnetism. Intensity can be anxiety, hypervigilance, attachment, adrenaline. Sometimes people call it chemistry, but often it's the nervous system recognizing a familiar pattern. Magnetism isn't over availability. Over availability is usually fear, fear of being left, fear of being replaced, fear of not mattering. Magnetism isn't performing confidence because performance always carries tension under it. And magnetism isn't pretending you don't care. Detachment as a mask isn't self love. Real magnetism is warm, present, grounded. So, what does magnetic self love look like in adult life? It looks like clean standards, fewer explanations, pacing yourself according to reality, letting yourself be human without making yourself wrong for it. And it looks like not forcing closeness. Magnetic self love doesn't chase intimacy, it allows intimacy to be built through consistency, respect, and shared reality. Which brings us to an important question. Instead of asking, how do I become magnetic? A more honest question is, where am I leaking myself? Where are you leaking your energy, your time, your truth, your standards, your self respect? Magnetism returns naturally when the leaks are sealed, and those leaks are usually subtle. You say yes when you mean no. You agree when you don't. You laugh when something doesn't feel right. You override your body's signals. You keep explaining because you don't trust your clarity. You stay because you hope instead of responding to what's actually there. Each of these is a small inner fracture. You're teaching your system, I won't protect you. I will choose approval over safety. I will choose comfort over truth. And then people wonder why they don't feel radiant. Confidence isn't something you think. It's something your body knows. Your body knows whether you follow through, whether you keep your words to yourself, whether you're loyal to your own signals. Magnetic self love is built through follow through, not affirmation. It is when you say, I need rest, and you rest. When you say, that doesn't work for me, and you honor it. When you say, I am not available for that dynamic, and you stop participating. That's when your energy becomes congruent. Now, let's talk about soothing self love versus strengthening self love. I'll have a sip of tea and let's get back. So, yes, soothing self love. Soothing self love is kindness, gentleness, permission. Strengthening self love is structure, boundaries, standards, truth. So, magnetic self love holds both. Without soothing, you become harsh. Without strengthening, you enable your own patterns. Magnetic self love is warmth and standards, softness and firmness, compassion and clarity. Now, the nervous system piece. When self love is missing, the nervous system stays in low level threat. You scan, you brace, you overthink, you wait. And bracing is not magnetic. Self love reduces bracing. It tells the body, I am safe with myself. And that safety shows up as presence. Your voice changes, your pace slows, your decisions become cleaner. Presence is magnetic. So the pathway is simple. Self trust creates safety. Safety creates presence. Presence creates magnetism. So now let's ground this in real life. In relationships, magnetic self love shows up in how you respond, not how you hope. It looks like not trying to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. It looks like not chasing reciprocity. It looks like valuing consistency over chemistry. It looks like no longer treating almost as a relationship. Almost is expensive. And sometimes self love is the moment you stop romanticizing potential and let the pattern be the answer. In work and money, magnetic self love looks like refinement, not hustle, clarity, not over output, pricing with integrity, building something that doesn't require you to abandon your health. A business built on self abandonment always sends the bill later. And finally, your relationship with yourself when nobody's watching. That's where magnetism is actually built. Self love, I want to be clear here, self love is not narcissism, it's stewardship. It's treating your life, your body, your energy, and your time as something that matters. A big leak here is overexplaining. Overexplaining is usually an attempt to stay safe, but it quietly outsources your authority. Magnetic self love sounds like one clear sentence, not dramatic, not cold, just clean. Now, let me address desire and chasing because this matters. Desire itself is not the problem. Desire is alive. Desire is sacred. Chasing is what happens when desire is paired with distrust. Distrust in timing, distrust in life, and most importantly, distrust in yourself. So you grip. Magnetic self love, it allows desire without collapse. It says, I want this, and also, I will not betray myself to get it. And that's when your energy becomes clean. And finally, let's add one spiritual layer. Clarity doesn't come from force, it comes from coherence. When self abandonment reduces, noise reduces, and an intuition becomes quieter, steadier, more accurate. That too is magnetism. So I will leave you with this. You don't need to become more to be loved. You need to become more loyal to yourself. Magnetism is not a strategy, it's an outcome of integrity. And self love isn't a mood, it's a practice. If you take one sentence into your week, let it be this: I don't abandon myself to be chosen. Let's repeat it 2 more times. I don't abandon myself to be chosen. And one more time. I don't abandon myself to be chosen. Okay, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you for listening, and I am sending everyone so much love. Goodbye.